Hello and welcome to Wednesday. Good afternoon, my friend.
Hello, sir.
How
Glad
are
that
you?
we got our 3 seconds of prep in before we started the show.
Literally, I've been busting ass all day. You've been working all day, and like 3 minutes before, I'm sitting here just waiting to listen to music, and all of a sudden my computer goes, "Yeah, I'm shutting down. Updates needed." Okay. You said you were going to be last second.
Yeah, dude, I literally I texted you at 3:30 and said, "I'm jumping on this call. I got to take this call. I think I said even if I'm not there at the show, just start the show. I'll be
Right.
in by the time it comes." I get in, I finished my conference call like 3 minutes ago, literally 3 minutes ago. I
Yeah.
come running in here, I log in, I jump into the room. No, Seth.
And
I
I'm
was
not
like,
here.
what the hell?
Sad part is I was here like 20 minutes before, but then I'm listening to music. I got the Hulk Hogan theme playing. I'm having a good time, looking at some stuff. And next thing you know, I see my internet isn't working all that well. Like, I'm
Oh,
like, what the
good
fuck
Lord.
is this? And as soon as it starts to like show the little like internet signal thing going
Yeah.
crazy,
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden it pops up with this update needed. Click.
Yeah.
Like,
One of 367.
and of course, it starts like doing the update. It goes 1%, 2%.
Right.
Like, holy shit, dude! I'm gonna be doing this until the end of the show. And then I was like, all right, there's nothing I can do. So I was literally just about to text you. I'm not there. You need to start the show.
Yeah, that would have been great. Because and in this case, completely not ready once again because I was not even thinking about the show until like 2 minutes ago. So
Welcome to Florida. There you go, Bob. Preparing for a hurricane. And the thing is, now you only got one leg, so good luck running from the wind.
Or swimming
feel bad
away
for
from it.
I wish I was there with you though, going through the hurricane, because I'd rather be there than here.
Why?
Because it's gonna snow here shortly. It ain't gonna snow in Florida. I'd take a hurricane over snow.
But today, I think I'd rather be here. Today, I'd rather be here. Maybe a week from now, I'd rather be back in Florida.
Hurricane or a blizzard? Which one? And you have to,
Blizzard. I'll take blizzard.
come on. I'll take a hurricane all day long.
Hurricane will kill you.
Oh, not if you stay inside.
If your roof stays on.
Okay, it has to be a really bad hurricane. I mean, we're talking, category 5 or something like that to kill you.
What do you think this one? What is this one? Helene?
Yeah, I think it's up to like a 1 right now.
Oh, Jesus, that's like flying a kite weather at this point.
That's what I'm saying. I'd rather have that than a blizzard.
Yeah, the only problem with hurricanes is, okay, that one might be a Cat 1, but I'm sure there's 8 more that are right behind it that are just going to keep rolling in for 3 months.
I'll call them Port Charlotte. So there you go.
Where's Port Charlotte?
I don't know.
Well, that might be in California for all we know.
I was going. I'm assuming it's Port. And then you think about it, Port Charlotte. I mean, maybe it's in Charlotte,
North Carolina. Yeah.
Port Charlotte. Oh, Port Charlotte, Florida.
Oh, all right.
Unincorporated community in Florida. Looks very nice. Looks very beautiful. Some pictures. All right. Before we get started, we have no Tony today, and we have a guy coming on to talk about Rush, correct?
We do. Danie Bukszpan is his name, and he wrote this jewel right here. 50. Rush at 50.
That's pretty cool.
It is a great book.
I wish I would have gotten a copy of that. That would have been nice.
You can have this copy if you want it.
I don't want to take your...
Dude, I don't keep books. Honestly, if you don't take it, I can tell you what's going to happen to it. It's going to end up in a box that Bloom Doggy Jon Drake will come and take. Because that's what he does. He comes by about once a year. He comes by and takes like 10 books that I get over the year. Because I don't keep books. I nothing against the authors. It's definitely nothing against the authors at all. It's just I don't have time to read them. I'm not going to read them. Right. And John is a readaholic. He's one of these guys that reads everything, And yes, Jackal, it is the same guy that was on the CMS because I think this book fits both audiences.
And see, I thought that I had seen that you did an interview with somebody about this, so at least you'll have an idea what to ask. Because I Other than my story, which I'll tell again to the author, and other than liking music,
Sure.
it's one of those things that I think you're a little bit more schooled in than myself.
Sure. But you can ask him anything you want to, because he's not. The thing that came out of the CMS interview on Saturday was that he's not like one of these guys that like knew Neil Peart from the time he was 3 and grew up with him, or you know, he's just one of us that liked Rush. So he put together this book.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to talking to him. That'll be fun. Yeah. I'll just drop my phone, which is no good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Before I don't even know what the hell we're going to talk about. What time is he coming on?
4:30.
4:30. All right, great. I have no idea what the hell to talk about today, other than if you missed the Bob France show today, go back and listen to the first hour of the show. If you want to know, I mean, I would assume that the majority of the people that listen or watch this show are Republicans, or at least right-leaning for the most part.
Sure.
But if you aren't, and you want to know who you're voting for, if you want to know who Kamala Harris really is, you need to listen to the first hour of the show today. It was truly something, because Kamala Harris continues to use this phrase, this slogan, whatever you want to call it, about we're not going back, move forward, or something like that.
Sure.
If you don't know this, and a lot of people don't, that is a communist phrase. It's been used for a very long time. If you go to like the communist website, I think it's I can't remember, cmparty.org or something like that, communist, whatever it is. But the Communist Party USA.org or something. There's tons of articles on there, and there's stuff that you can look at, where one woman a few years ago wrote an article and she used the exact same phrase. These people stand, in Europe, especially the Communist Party, stand in front of signs saying, we're not going back, move forward.
Right.
I mean, it's a communist slogan. She was raised by communists. Everybody that she worked with was communists. But if you want to educate yourself, because I'm not as smart as Bob obviously is, he is very well schooled, very well educated. I'm a guy who's just passionate about my country.
Sure.
Do a little bit of research, and you're going to find out the truth. But listen to Bob, that 9 o'clock hour, first hour, it's podcast on the website, WHKradio.com. And it's very informative.
Did you happen to see that Biden said today that he's completely at peace with dropping out of the presidential race?
Well, I'm sure he is. I did not see that. But when you're threatened and told to move away, I'm sure that you're at peace with it at some point.
Would you like to guess where he said it?
The bathroom.
No. A legitimate. In most circles considered, not in our circle, but in most circles, this would be considered a legitimate television outlet.
An outlet. Legitimate television outlet.
A television show.
Television show.
Yes, television show. Not
The View.
Not ABC. Yes, he said it on The View.
I don't know. Where was he?
He was on The View.
Are you serious? I guessed, and I was right. Okay.
There he is. Biden says he's at peace with decision about the race. He said, when I was confronted with either taking a bullet in the back of the head as a suicide or dropping out the race, I decided to drop out the race.
I could end up like Epstein and eventually Diddy, or I can just drop out of the race.
Thinking about it, and I don't do a lot of thinking these days because I'm a fucking retard, but thinking about it a little bit, I just thought, you know what? I could drop out the race and they might let my son not go to jail. Or I could go to jail or be killed and he could go to jail. So I dropped out.
I think since he's dropped out of the race, I've seen him literally 3 times. And he's the guy that still is supposed to be running the country.
Yeah. Well, why would you see him? I mean, he's very deep in thought now.
I mean, he decides to drop out of the race. Then people try to kill Trump all over the place. Again, another distraction. And they're keeping their cameras off of Biden because eventually he's going to say, look, they forced me to do this. Mm-hmm. These people are all corrupt.
Yeah. I mean, it's
because he's going to lose his mind enough that he's going to just spill the beans.
Of course. But could he have gone to a more safe space for him than The View?
No.
I mean, is there a more safe place to go?
I'd be worried that the pigs are actually going to eat him. But other than that, I think he's pretty safe there.
I mean, I can't think of a place where he would be asked less challenging questions. Is there one outlet anywhere that would ask him less challenging questions than The View?
An ABC debate, apparently.
Even the debate would have had more somewhat challenging than The View.
I'm not sure about that.
Come on. The View's going to just be like, oh, my God, President Biden, it's so great to have you here. You've done such a lovely job for the country. Look at gas is down 30 cents.
And the problem is that Trump would probably do that show, but those pigs would never have him on because they're afraid of what he would do. I mean, he would make them look stupid. I mean, they already make themselves look stupid, but he would make them look even dumber than they actually are. Yeah. And I'm so sick and tired of, well, they're women and blah, 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 you need to stand up for women. Well, fuck those women.
They're equal
those aren't
now.
Women. Those are pigs.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not supposed to treat them any different.
Well, and that's the case. I thought that was the case, right?
Yeah.
But if you say anything about Kamala, then you're a sexist and a racist.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
You could say Donald Trump is Hitler, but you can't say that Kamala is anything other than perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's quite crazy, isn't it?
It really is. We had also today we had Seth Dillon on today. You know who Seth Dillon is?
I do not know who Seth Dillon is.
He's the CEO of the Babylon Bee.
Oh, no kidding. I love them.
One of the greatest satire sites, and
formerly satire. It seems like more and more their stuff is like rivaling the regular news.
Well, because you know why? And he talked about it on today's show, dude. They are beaten down by the social media platforms. I mean, they put on there at one point something about CNN is like a washing machine, or CNN dumped news into a washing machine to clean it up or something like that. And Facebook fact-checked and said that is not true. Said they're going to kick them off the site if they put up stuff like that. I mean, it's a fucking joke. I mean, it's so obviously a joke, but that's the way that this country is run now. That's the way social media is run.
Yeah, it's, dude, I mean, I don't know if you see it or not, but everything we do gets a flag now. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
I've noticed. Now
that the election is coming up, every day the show ends and then I go to my email and the first thing in my email is, this has been blocked in some territories. And that's every territory, Dude, last night, you're going to laugh at this. Last night, I did my Chris Aiken Presents show that I do with Eric Ferentinos.
Yep.
And on the last Tuesday of every month, we watch a bad movie. We just do it. We pick a really bad movie and we play it and we commentate on it and everybody gets in on it. It's just like a fun thing for like the subscribers.
Sounds like fun, actually.
So last night we gave the first 10 minutes of the show for free, okay? So we did the first 10 minutes on all the platforms and then we kicked everything off except for the people that were subscribers, right?
Yeah.
So it aired for 10 minutes. It was just Eric and I talking for 10 minutes. And then the last maybe 30 seconds was us starting the movie. So was it the movie? Did we give away the movie? Or was it hey, this is brought to you by ABC Films and, it stars this guy and that guy. That? Copyright strike.
Wow.
Copyright strike for 30 seconds of playing this damn movie.
Man. Did we get a strike against playing Bob stuff the other day?
I did not see it, but we may have. I don't know.
I didn't see anything.
I don't think because True Blue's not on a traditional TV network. I guess we did not, but
I'm sure because it's
well, I'm sure it's copywritten, and dude, some of the copyrights that we get are from like 2021. So
yeah, I've noticed that.
It would shock me none if 3 years from now we get a copyright saying Bob France's show has been copyrighted.
I know that I got a copyright notice the other day for a band we had on like a year and a half ago.
Right.
And I'm sitting there, wait a second, but we were playing the music of the band that we had on. I mean, of course, we had permission to play the music of the band that we were interviewing.
Yeah, we had the band right in front of us.
Social media has lost its mind. Like today,
it sucks. It's terrible.
You know these Buc-ee's gas stations? You ever been to one?
Yeah.
Probably the greatest gas station of all time. I mean, I went there to get gas once when we were on our vacation down in Florida. I mean, these things are huge. Okay. And we went in, and we spent $200 at Buc-ee's gas station. Because they have sauces and souvenirs and sweatshirts and all kind of different shit. I walked out with spent $200 worth of shit, and I forgot to actually get gas, and I had to go back and put gas in the car. But they have a Buc-ee's lovers, page on Facebook, and so I liked the page and I followed it, whatever, because I'm a big fan. I mean, it's a cool place. I got a lot of shit. I got a lot of Buc-ee's merchandise laying around this house. I got hoodies, I got magnets, I got all kind of shit. And somebody posted on it, if you're a Trump-loving dumb bastard, something like that, and had like, that this country's going to hell if he gets elected. It's got all these pictures of Trump fans and calling them weird. And I'm sitting there going, all right, I know this wasn't Buc-ee's created post. Right. Because all their posts are just, happy-go-lucky fun shit. But social media has gone the way of people are out there just to ruin life for you.
Sure.
They will bash you. They will harass you. They will beat the shit out of you mentally all day long on social media. And there's no regulation on it. And I'm not sure that there should be regulation on it.
There should not be any regulation. Dude, again, it's free speech. And they are they're not it's not supposed to be regulated by the government.
But I do believe that pages like Buc-ee's should be regulated by an admin who doesn't let that kind of shit go on there.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
It's political posts on a gas station website.
That's a problem but that's an internal problem with the company, and they just don't care that they're going to lose money. But, that's really what it comes down to. They don't care that they're going to lose money, or they think that it won't cost them anything. They don't realize a bunch of guys like you won't go there anymore.
Right. Well, that's what all the comments were saying. I'm never going to step foot in there again. And it's like, I know that all I had to do was click on the name underneath the Buc-ee's, whatever, and see who had actually posted it. Yeah. And it was a guy that literally all he does is like his own posts.
Sure.
Nobody else likes any of his posts. He just likes his own posts.
Well, here's how crazy it is. I think I sent you off book a message or a meme that was a lady that's buying houses, and it was something like, if you're planning to move out of the country when Trump wins, I'll buy your house, which is pretty funny. I thought that was pretty innovative and pretty funny, right? Yeah. She's a house flip person, and she was kind of making fun of all the celebrities saying that if Trump wins, they're moving to Canada, whatever. Yeah, I got that post taken down by Facebook. I put it on Facebook with no comment at all on it, just the picture, flagged as hate speech. Speech. I had no speech.
I said something you put up today, and I think I'm wondering if that's going to get taken down.
Did I put up?
Yeah.
What did I put up?
The Mount Touchmore.
Oh yeah. Well, they're okay with Diddy getting thrown under the bus.
Yeah. Literally, he'll be thrown under the bus shortly.
Yeah, no kidding. Run over by the prison bus.
Yes.
Yeah, where's my profile? Put that one up. That's pretty funny too. But I think on that one too, I don't think I put up any comment, did I? I think I didn't. Here it is. Let me present. Share the screen. Yeah, there it is. Mount Touchmore.
I think Greg was asking who the other people were.
Well, I don't know who this guy is, but I'll take their word that this guy's a piece of shit. This is Drake, right?
Yeah.
And this is R. Kelly.
The white guy, I don't know. I can't tell.
He looks familiar, but I don't know who he is.
Yeah, it looks like Bieber, dude.
That's not Bieber.
Looks like him a little.
No, that's not Bieber.
Did you see that clip I sent you the other day of Usher?
Oh, from Howard Stern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Usher's talking about all kind of nasty shit that he had to go through when it came to a Diddy, man. Like, he would take him, like, he was kid. Usher was like 13 years old. And he was getting taken, like, all kind of, like, weird fetish parties and shit with like a little kid.
Oh yeah. He said he was 13 years old, and you see what he said a couple times. I keep seeing I saw things I should have never seen before.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts.
And nobody raised an eye. They're just like, it's just Diddy. Everybody knew. Quite honestly, I don't think anybody, like even us regular folks, didn't know. I mean, that's been a very widely known thing, hasn't it? I heard that before.
I guess I've heard rumors, but I never thought of like the magnitude of what it looks like it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, well, I just think in general, we don't care as long as it doesn't affect our lives. And right now, again, the media is spinning it to take the focus off a fucking dummy that's running against Trump. That's why Diddy's a big news story. Diddy is a big news story because it takes days off of Kamala being in the news. Because every day that she's not the headline story is one day more that somebody doesn't realize what a fucking idiot she is. Don't you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. They have to come up with something at this point. Maybe.
He might be.
I think I saw the list had some pretty big names on it, man. I mean,
it has ton. Dr. Dre and
Jay-Z,
Beyonce.
I mean, there were some big names on that list.
LeBron.
But I think I did see a not only Usher was talking shit, but I think Bieber was saying stuff about.
Oh, Bieber is definitely saying stuff, but Bieber's a victim. Not maybe, I don't know. I mean, again, all of this is alleged because we don't want to make any claims like we know anything, but.
No, but nobody else knows anything. I mean, these are the claims that are out there.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not repeating anything different.
No, we still got to say allegedly. Doesn't matter if we believe it or not. It's alleged still.
World War III is a distraction too. I'm telling you, we talk about this all the time on the show. Something is going to happen if this election doesn't go the right way. And, we've said it a lot, and people say it all the time. Oh, this is the biggest election of our time. No, this is the biggest election of our time. I truly believe that.
Yeah. Well, I truly believe that whatever happens on November, whatever day, you're going to have violence in the streets. I truly believe that.
I totally agree too.
I just can't see. I can't see the Trump supporters accepting an election steal, and I can't see the Kamala people accepting Trump taking it over again. I just can't see it.
I think we're headed towards the loss of our republic or World War III. So,
well, thankfully, if any of that happens, I will still have this Rush book here to keep me entertained while the world blows up. The world may be going to hell, but I'll still have Rush at 50 to keep me.
I will be sitting by your side, reading together, and praying for the safe return of our country.
The world may go to hell in 2024, but we will be enjoying 2112. That's how I see it.
Welcome our guest to the program.
Yeah, well, why don't we play a quick spot, and then we'll bring Danie Bukszpan, the author of Rush at 50, onto the show to talk all about the book and everything that's going on.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody hang tight. We will be back shortly. It is the Seth Williams Show. Maybe. Where's the commercials? Here we go.
There they are.
It's the album that changed everything. Metallica's Black Album. In Cause and Effect, Metallica, author Chris Aiken takes you back to the lead-up, the release, and the shockwaves that followed. Relive the moment that divided fans, reshaped heavy metal, and turned commercial radio on its ear. With insider stories and personal memories from rock critic and radio personality Chris Aiken, this book is a backstage pass to one of rock's most iconic moments. Get your copy now at chrisaiken.net or on Amazon. Don't miss out on this epic journey through heavy metal history.
Are you looking for a way to support the Seth Williams Show? Get your Seth Williams Show merchandise today. From coffee mugs to clothing and everything in between, our high-quality merch is the perfect way for you to not only support the show, but show everyone what is the greatest show going today. Just go to shop.thesethwilliamsshow.com now, shop around, and buy some great merchandise from The Seth Williams Show. Shop today.
Who doesn't need a Seth Williams Show shower curtain?
Everybody does, of course.
Get one.
right.
Welcome back.
We are back, man, and we are back with an author of a fine book. I know we're playing a little bit, but this is a great book. And I will tell you, same thing I said on the CMS on Saturday when we talked to Daniel there. This book, no matter what level of fan you are, whether you're that hardcore guy that's been to 300 Rush shows in your life, or you're just somebody that knows Tom Sawyer and not much else, you'll love this book. Lots of great pictures, lots of great memorabilia stuff, great stories. It's not all kiss ass, which I love that too. It's real, it's honest, and it's told by a fan. So without further ado, why don't we bring on Danie Bukszpan, the author of Rush at 50. Daniel, how are you, man?
Good.
Welcome.
Hello again.
Yes. Good to see you once again, man.
Yeah.
It's great to talk to you once again, man, and it's great to be able to share with a different audience the specifics of this book right here, Rush at 50. It is such a great book, man. And why don't we start there, man? Tell everybody about writing this book and your history with the band, so to speak.
I'm trying really hard not to repeat exactly what I said.
It's almost all new people.
It's
don't
new
know.
people. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's the same. It's the same
Sure.
story. So, I became aware of them during high school when they were knee deep in the whole synthesizer era in the 80s that a lot of people find problematic.
Sure.
That music when I was coming to them new, I liked it, but it wasn't quite. It didn't quite make the sale. Like Big Money on Power Windows did not make the sale. But then I had the privilege of hearing the song Free Will, which has like one of the top 3 greatest guitar solos ever by anybody. And that was it. I'm lifer at that point.
Right.
And I listen to them all the time. Ask my wife. I listen to them all the time.
Does she hate them?
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, it's not really her thing.
Okay.
But she's not she is not a hater.
Okay.
And she likes how much I like them.
Okay.
I guess is the sort of thing you would say. And she thinks Geddy Lee's voice is funny, like haha funny.
Right.
Well,
but that's better than like I hate them. I hate them. I
Right.
hate this asshole. Which I have been on the receiving end of that one numerous times.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I have my own Geddy Lee story. I worked at WMMS for a decade.
Okay.
And so I was a DJ there. I did all different shifts and everything. So one morning I was hosting a morning show and I got to interview Geddy Lee. And I was just a punk kid straight out of broadcasting school. I've heard Rush, but I didn't know much about him. And so I'm interviewing Geddy Lee, and my first question was, dude, does anybody ever confuse you for a girl? And the silence was deafening. And at which point people from like the studio started coming down and yelling at me through the glass, like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, really?
And I didn't, again, I was just a punk kid out of broadcasting school and didn't realize the magnitude of a rock star that I was talking to. But he actually ended up being very cool, and it was actually a great interview and a lot of fun.
In your defense,
yeah,
he has a very high voice.
He does.
Yes.
And also, there are a lot of Rush tribute bands, going right now, and a lot of them are fronted by women, because a lot of dudes just can't get up there. It's not possible. And if you're a Rush fan to the point where you would go to tribute shows and that sort of thing, you want every single note hit correctly, in key, at the right pitch, exactly the way it sounds on the record. And mostly only women are able get up there. You know, I mean, I've never sat down and done like, well, I mean, in my book, I had a vocal coach sort of like do an analysis of his voice, you know, because I was sort of like, well, why is there hostility, you know, for some people towards his voice? What's that all about? You know, and she got like very technical about like it's kind of nasal, and you know, like there are a few things about it that maybe set some people off. But I mean, I think he's fantastic. I think he's an excellent singer. It took me a little bit at the beginning to get past his voice, just because the first time you hear it, it's really like, oh my God, what's that? Jesus
Right.
Christ. But you know, you either at that point are like, I never want to listen to this shit ever again for the rest of my life,
Right.
or wow, that guy's great.
Sure.
There's no in between. I have never, with the exception of my wife, maybe. I have never heard anybody who was like, yeah, Rush are okay. I like some songs. Sure, they're fine.
Yeah.
Never. It's love or hate. That's it.
Well, it's grown on me, that's for sure. I mean, you know, from being that idiot kid who asking questions to Geddy Lee to now appreciating the band for what they are, which is, you know, legendary. I mean, it has grown on me.
May I ask when that was?
When did I grow into a more of a fan?
No,
last Thursday.
Last Thursday. No. When did I interview Geddy Lee? We're probably talking maybe 99.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
dumb.
yeah. So there's no.
I was dumb. I was an idiot. You know, I mean, it is what it is. At least I recognize it.
Well, Daniel, let me ask you this, and you know, talking about the popularity of the band, and this has always been my personal thought, and I could be way wrong. Do you think that part of the reason that some people love this band and some people don't like this band is because it's not, I'm just going to call it stupid rock? You know, I mean, it's very cerebral lyrically, and it's, you know, it's way more gifted musically. Sure. And I'm not shitting on these guys because I love them, but it's not AC/DC. You know, it's not 3 chords and let's sing about chicks, man. I mean, it's real, you know, philosophical looks at the, you know, the trees and the, you know, all, especially the early records. Do you think maybe they were just perceived almost as snobby by a lot of people?
That's a tough one, you know, because I mean, you know, musicians, when they listen to Rush, you know, like right away they recognize like, wow, these guys are like really high level, elite musicians. And even if they don't necessarily like the music, they're able to see immediately, you know, that these guys obviously know what they're doing.
Sure.
What you're talking about, I think, is most like really kind of derives from the lyrics.
Right.
A lot of which is based on literature, and you know, like, I remember like this was yesterday. I was sitting at a bar like 30 years ago with a couple of friends, and one of them was like, "Jesus Christ, Rush, they fucking suck. Jesus Christ, and those lyrics, talk about not being down to earth." You know, just on and on and on like that. So I would say for him, yes, absolutely, that was his problem with it. But I don't know. I think people either hear the music and just instantly write it off, or they hear the music, they like it, and as they're digging deeper into it, they gain more of an appreciation for the lyrics and how complex the music is. You know, because at first blush, a lot of it doesn't even sound as complex as it actually is. Like a song like Limelight is a really good example, because it's always shifting in and out into different time signatures, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like it's just kind of a rock song, you know. Right. But when you know, if you're sitting there like trying to take it apart, it's actually pretty complex, but it doesn't sound complex. That's a thing I think that has really helped them and really set them apart. You know, like King Crimson or Yes, or you know, some other progressive rock band, like, you know, instantly the second the song starts, you're like, you know, what the fuck is that? You know,
right?
I love those bands, by the way. That's not a criticism at all. But you know, I think Rush have the ability to be as complex as that, but they're able to somehow present it in a way that it's not like jazz. You
Right.
know, a lot of people are just put off immediately because, you know, there's no structure. It's improvising. What are those scales? Why are you playing those notes? You know, Rush is on FM radio all the time. Limelight in particular, I hear that's like probably the Rush song I hear on the radio even more than Tom Sawyer. It usually seems to be Limelight.
Right, or Working Man gets its share of play as well. But,
Sure, that is actually,
and that's probably the weirdest dichotomy of them all. Is, you know, I can remember when I first heard Rush when I was very young, and I think it was something off of Caress of Steel, and somebody said, well, you have to read the book, blah, blah. I was like, I'm not going to read this book.
Right.
What, are you kidding? I'm not reading a book to listen to a song.
right.
But they have songs with that kind of depth, and then at the same time, they do have their share of kind of easier to digest Working Man, Big Money, you know, stuff like that really is kind of real person rock, I guess, for lack of a better term. They're one of the very few that's ever been able to pull both sides of that off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here right now trying to think of like another example of that, and honestly, there are not really too many. I can't think of anybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
Usually musicians who play at that high a level kind of disqualify themselves from mainstream acceptance. They've made a decision. We're just doing this very specific thing.
Sure.
Some people maybe will get it, you know. And Rush have just pulled off this very neat trick of not compromising on that at all, yet not alienating huge swaths of people either.
Sure.
That's really hard to do. That is a really fine line to walk. Somehow they managed it. And we're all just kind of like, how'd they do that?
Right.
So to be a big enough fan to like write a book like you did you like follow the band around? How many shows you've been to? I mean, what did you do to get the knowledge to be able to write a book about them?
Well, for one thing, just listen to them constantly to the point where it was like, I should really be getting sick of this music by now, and I'm not. 10 years later, I'm still not sick of this music. Like it still to this day just does something to me.
Is it everyday listening?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not just that it has like been a sort of a constant fixture in my life that I feel I've benefited from. I feel lucky to know about this music and have it to listen to. And like when I'm in like the shittiest mood imaginable and hate everything, I can, you know, put on a couple of their songs and it's like, okay, well, you know, it's not as bad as it was 10 minutes ago.
Right.
I said it in the introduction to the book where it's like, their music centers me. There's a few other like Led Zeppelin does that. I would say Neil Young does that for me, where I put on a couple of songs and it's like, okay, back to normal. We're good. And you know, Rush there's this kind of like sweet spot in their catalog, probably from like 2112 to Grace Under Pressure, where if I play any music from any of those albums, I just kind of feel more like, oh, okay, back to normal. I recognize this feeling. I'm good.
Right.
You know, I mean, just having that kind of relationship to the music, you know, that alone will make you like, I think I have to put these thoughts down in writing somewhere. Because, you know, I just have never gotten bored of them. Just like I've never gotten bored of Black Sabbath. I have never gotten bored of Dio. It has never happened. And stuff that can stay with you like that over decades is really rare. But, you know, to me, I just love their music so much and so sincerely that the idea of writing a book about them was like, no problem. Let's get it done.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, Daniel, the one thing and I said this in the beginning, I said it even before you came on today, the one thing that I love about this book is that you don't have to be a hardcore to get to really enjoy this book. In fact, I think you might even enjoy it more if you're not, because you get a lot of perspective that you don't already, either have or fight against. You know, you could really get into this and discover Rush from this book. That being said, how do you market a book about a band that's so iconic so that people that are not on board with the band will buy it, or do you just hope?
Well, you know, I mean, we talked about this a little bit last time, but you know, my hope with the book is that, you know, whether you're new to the band or you know them very well, there is something in this book for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the super fans, I expect will have some problems with some of the things I wrote.
Sure.
But that's fine. That's okay. I'm ready for that. But you know, I mean, what I'm really hoping is that, you know, this is like my little contribution to passing the music along to new people. You know, because one thing I will say about a lot of rock audiences, especially for bands that have been around for a long time, is there's a tendency for longtime fans to become gatekeepers and feel like, you know, young people, you know, fuck you. What do you know about this band? I've been listening to them for 30 years. And I feel like I'm 54 years old, and I feel like my job at this point is to pass this along
to
younger people, because, you know, I will not be here forever, you know, but I hope I'm giving them something that they can kind of use and take with them. There's one YouTuber who I watch right now, who's just discovering them. She's like 4 songs in.
Oh,
and
wow.
She's like, oh my God, you know, like she's on board. And to me, someone like her is the perfect person for this book.
Right.
And she only knows a few songs. What is the deal with this band? You know, so this is, to me, it's a good primer for someone like her. But I do hope the super fans will find some value in it.
Right.
Yeah. Even if it's just to tell me I got something wrong. They
right.
will. They will.
Oh, they definitely will do that.
I would bet money on that. Yeah.
Well, Daniel, what do you think about these? Let me backtrack a little bit. I respect the position that Alex and Geddy have taken as far as Rush is done because Neil is gone.
Right.
I fully respect that. That being said, though, the constant rumor is out there about doing it almost as a tribute to Rush and getting Mike Portnoy or Mike Mangini or some ridiculously talented drummer that has ties to Rush. And I know Mangini does. I actually talked to Mangini about this. And he couldn't back away from it quick enough.
Yeah.
Which made me think there's probably some spark to that he doesn't want it to get out there that he said anything. Do you think that would be a good idea, or do you think people would just rebel against it given the importance of Neil to the band?
Well, like Geddy and Alex have done a couple of things now since the band broke up, where it's the two of them with like a guest drummer. They do 2 songs and leave the stage.
Right. Never
call it Rush. I think as long as it stays like that, I think that's respectful and the fans can deal with it and they're fine with that. I think if they were to be like, we're back, here's our new drummer, we're going on tour, you know, people would still go, but I think there would be a lot of like grousing about it. I would certainly grouse about it. You know, because the big thing is like, okay, you'll find some very technical drummer. They know all the parts backwards and forwards. Can they write lyrics?
Right.
And, you know, I mean, maybe they're out there. I don't know. But you're not going to find another Neil Peart. It's not possible. It's not out there. And I really respect that the guys are feeling like, no, it's done. We can't do this without it. And, you know, and I think a lot of, if they tried to come back as Rush with a different drummer, I just don't think it would sit well with a lot of fans.
Let's just say, sake of argument, they were to come back and be, I don't know, 2112, a tribute to Rush.
Yeah.
And it was those 2 guys and a drummer. Would that be acceptable?
It would be more acceptable, I think. But it would be a pebble in the shoe of most like really devoted Rush fans. I mean, they would go. They would go.
I was gonna say.
But I don't know. It would just not sit right with them, I think. And I think, like, out of respect for the fans, the guys don't want to do it. It's it's not just for them not wanting to do it. It's like we feel like our fans deserve better, and we really don't want to put something in front of them that could be perceived as just like a cash grab. They definitely don't want that.
And it seems like it, especially with Geddy, from the stuff that I've heard from him, he may not be able to handle it emotionally. Like, it might be very emotionally difficult to play those songs with anybody else.
Those guys were really tight. They were really good friends, and they managed to have this thing going for 40 years. Without any of their conflicts or whatever, they never played out in public. It was because they were really tight. They were really friends, and I think I don't know it, but I definitely know what you're talking about, and I think, like, for Geddy, there are so many contradictions in how he feels, because there's part of him that I think really wants to be out there playing because he's a musician. This is his life. This is what he loves to do, but he can't. It's not there anymore for him to do in the same way.
And it's almost unfair for him not to play those songs because he wrote those songs. He was a part writer of those songs.
Yeah, I mean, I see him and Alex Lifeson too as like really kind of being in a bind if they ever wanted to come back, where it's like, we love this music, but we want to be up there on stage, but you know what I mean? I don't know these guys. I have no insight into what they feel about things, but you can just kind of tell things are not the same for them. You can kind of tell that they're still feeling that loss very acutely.
I understand what you guys are saying, and it makes a lot of sense. But as a fan, and not somebody that is invested in the band, maybe like you are, but as a fan that would like to hear the music again and like to see the music again, it kind of pisses me off that they wouldn't go out and, for the fans, go out there and recreate some of this stuff and do it again.
Sure. No, I totally get where you're coming from. That's an absolutely reasonable statement. Part of why they had to stop also was like Alex Lifeson has arthritis, that he was fighting against for about 10 years before the band finally hung it up. They're all, those guys are in their 70s now.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure all three of us have gone to like, all right, so-and-so is reuniting, and you get there and you see them and it's like,
I wish they didn't reunite.
But it's like, maybe the ship sailed.
Right.
Maybe the opportunity, I saw Black Sabbath in 2013 and Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler they destroyed the fucking place. It was amazing how good they were. And I was very upset that Bill Ward was not part of the lineup.
You had Tommy Clufetos or somebody was the drummer, I think.
Yes, but he was able to keep it up for the whole show. And I was like, I don't know if Bill Ward would have been like 65 at the time or something.
Sure.
Like that. And I was like, I don't know if he could do this every single night for 300 days or however long the tour was. And Ozzy, it was like a homeless man had just wandered on stage and was just like barking nonsense into the microphone, but maybe, that was accurate when he was 30 also.
I was going to say, yeah.
But if you can explain to me also, and I will definitely get some hate for this, how the Black Sabbath lineup with the worst singer is the most popular one.
You won't get any argument from me on that one. He's the third best singer in that band, or fourth,
or maybe fifth.
Yeah, maybe fifth. I certainly would put Dio at one.
Oh, everyone hates me for that.
And then
they'll ask me like, well, they'll ask me like, "What's your favorite Black Sabbath album?" I'll be like, "Oh, that's easy. Mob Rules."
Yeah.
You hate me.
I'm trying to think. I would put Dio at 1. I would put Tony Martin at 2. I might put Ray Gillen at 3, and then Ian Gillan at 4, and Ron Keel at 5.
Where is Glenn Hughes in all this?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true too, man. Might need a reshuffle here.
Still higher than Ozzy.
Yeah, well, he's definitely higher than Ozzy. You know, I mean, that's see, and immediately we get these. Where's my mouse not going?
Is someone mad already?
Somebody's automatically no Ozzy, no Sabbath, immediate.
Awesome. Did they call me an asshole?
No.
Okay. No Ozzy, no Sabbath. Yeah, but I will say, I get it. Because as much as I love Dio, I never thought any of the other singers could sing the Ozzy stuff like Ozzy.
Yeah, including Dio.
Yeah, and then it's not because he can't. It didn't work.
It was like Sammy Hagar singing the Roth tunes with Van Halen. Same exact thing. It just was like, nobody wanted to hear Jump anyway, but they certainly didn't want to hear Sammy Hagar sing it.
Calm down there.
Stop it.
But I mean, getting back to what you were saying though about Rush, these guys, they're in their 70s. They accomplished all of it, and I can see why they would be like, maybe there's no real hurry to try to resurrect this thing because we accomplished everything we set out to do.
Mm-hmm.
That plus just the age thing, and I will say there are a lot of bands who are who broke up because someone was like, I just don't want to tour anymore.
Sure.
Touring is a real fucking grind, and
Mm-hmm.
it gets worse the older you get. So I get it. I would love, yes, I would love to see them reform in some way that made sense. But I don't think that's reality, unfortunately.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, Daniel, and I've said this about every one of these damn tributes that come out or reworked bands or, avatar shows, which is now the next thing we're talking about. All this crap which is the reason they're legendary is because they were only there for a moment in time.
Right.
And you take the legend away from them if you let them play till they drop dead or you don't let the legacy move on. One of the reasons that Rush is considered an iconic band, and you know this as somebody that's written the book on them, you will find nobody that will ever say, you know what, I caught a Rush show and it was terrible.
No.
They sounded bad. The drummer couldn't drum. You'll never, ever find that.
If you hear someone who says that person is lying and has never been to a Rush show. They would get 5 minutes in and be like, oh, okay, well, I can't make this complaint. I can't make this complaint. I can't make this complaint. Those guys were on point 100% of the time.
Right.
They really, really cared about the music, that the listener response.
Mm-hmm.
That meant a lot to them, and they wanted to present the best possible product.
Right.
Every single time. Neil Peart quit in part just because, time and age was catching up to him and he didn't want to be in a position of like, I don't want to get up there and have like a backing track or, cheat the audience in some way. I want to keep doing this, playing up to the standard everyone expects of me.
Sure.
And then the minute it seems like that's starting to slip, I'm out.
Right.
I really respect the hell out of that because they, I don't have to tell you guys, that there's a whole industry out there now of, keeping, legacy bands alive, with backing tapes and, I don't have to go through the names. I'm
right.
Sure you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Absolutely. No, you're right, man.
I would argue in the case of Kiss, it's not like there was like this really high bar that they needed to hit in the first place. But if they couldn't even hit that anymore, then we're out.
Them, Motley Crue, a bunch of those bands.
Oh my God. I was never a huge Motley Crue fan, but that is a fucking tragedy. Oh my God. Just put him out of his misery. And us while you're at it.
Right on. Well, Daniel, tell people where they should go to buy the book, Rush at 50. It's a great, great purchase. So tell people where to go to buy it.
Thank you. It comes out October 8th. It's available for pre-order at all the usual suspects like Amazon BarnesandNoble.com, wherever fine books are sold.
All right.
And also where shitty books are sold. Where books are sold. Yeah.
Any books.
They carry mine, so it mustn't be all fine books.
Yeah. And please visit my website, notoriousbuk.com.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm not going to make people spell my last name. That's no good.
Right on. Well, one more time, the book is Rush at 50. It's by Danie Bukszpan. And Daniel, thanks so much for joining us here on the Seth Williams Show.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Daniel.
Take care.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
There's plenty of places to experience the Seth Williams Show, but if you want all the content, you need to join us on Minds. Get all the live episodes of the show every Monday and Wednesday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. Get the special bonus footage every Wednesday from 5:30 to 6 p.m. Get bonus content from Seth and Chris as it's produced. It's only $4.99 per month, so don't wait. Sign up today. Visit us at www.minds.com/Seth Williams Show.
Well, I kind of disagree with a lot of what he said. I'm a Gary Sharon fan myself.
Gary Sharon?
Best Van Halen singer.
Would you stop?
Ever. I remember going to see that show at Gary Sharon was doing Van Halen. And I was at the Q, whatever the hell it was called back then. And I was sitting in these stands, and there wasn't a fucking soul around me, dude. Like, I could spit and not hit another fan in the building.
I was at that show. It was a good show, though. I'll give it to Gary. Gary could cover both guys pretty well.
Okay, but still, not the same as seeing a show.
No.
Those two.
No. Definitely not the same as seeing Roth or as seeing Hagar.
We did like a coffee break concert down at the Odeon or something like that with Hagar, and it was fucking unbelievable. Like,
dude, you don't know my story about that? Oh my God.
Sure I've heard it, but
I got so drunk backstage beforehand with Sammy. I don't know if I knew you then or not, but
maybe not.
But we were all hanging out backstage, and Sammy had a case of that Cabo tequila, like 12 bottles of it. And we were all sitting there and he was holding court, and he handed everybody their own bottle that was back there of the Cabo tequila. And we were all just chugging it. And what I remember most about it, we were hammered. And I was there with Wardlaw. We were standing there watching it, and I was trashed. And I don't know if you remember this, but he was only supposed to play like 3 or 4 songs something. Yeah. And he played like an hour.
Yep.
But after the third song, he didn't realize that it hadn't gone off the air. And he comes onto the mic and he goes, "All right, now we're done with the fucking radio. Let's get some fucking rock and roll going." And he's like dropping F-bombs like crazy. And I just remember seeing the MMS people pulling their hair out because he dropped like 5 or 6 F-bombs like in 20 seconds the minute he thought that they were off the radio, because I guess he was told that
only be a few songs. And back then we didn't have a delay button back then.
Right. Yeah, all of it went out.
So everything went out over the air.
That was a good another thing I remember about that was that he went to, like, later that day or that night or something, he was playing Akron, right? I think he was playing Akron either the next night or whatever. And he said that he was having vocal problems because he was sick. He wasn't sick. He was hungover.
Right, of course.
Because he was hammered at the Odeon. That was a great time. That was a great night.
That book looks cool, but I mean,
it's a great book.
Maybe I should find like a band that I really like and just write a book.
You probably could, because you know what, dude? Especially in the era that you like, the books haven't really come yet. There's not a whole lot of
Korn
book. Know. Yeah, there's not really a Korn or Disturbed or any of that stuff. You know, they're Godsmack and none of it. I mean, of course, what did you write in the Godsmack book? You just write the same sentence over and over, just like they've done the same album over
shut
and
up,
over.
Dude. It was one of my favorite bands back then.
You think that they sounded different from record to record?
I don't think they necessarily sounded different from record to record, but if you liked their sound, you liked every record.
Yeah, I guess they were AC/DC. They were modern AC/DC.
And, I mean, I guess it was just my personal experiences with that band that made me like them even more. I mean, I had a lot of like cool shit that I got to do with that band.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like Godsmack. Don't get me wrong. I like Godsmack.
When they were like super duper popular, I was able to, film that Awake video with them.
Yeah.
And then, you got to play that video one day and just watch it carefully and see if you can see me. Like, again, you see me bouncing up and down for like 30 seconds. Not even 30 seconds. You see me bouncing up and down for like a second.
Right.
You see that it's my fat ass with the hair in the background.
That's awesome. Dude, the only thing I could ever say bad about Godsmack, and I love them. I saw their very first show ever in Cleveland at Peabody's Down Under. There was me, Wardlaw, 2 waitresses, the bartender, and the stage guy in the room. Nice. Like, no one was there. It was like on a Tuesday or something. It was before the first album had come out even. But we had it because Matt had some tie to somebody that was working him or something. So we went to the show, and it was like, whoa, these guys are going to be something. And, boy, were they quick.
They were in and out, though. I mean, some of the they still have stuff out there, but, again, radio airplay around here just sucks.
No. They were boring live. You didn't think they were boring live?
But they're great live. I mean, like...
Really?
Huh. But again, my experiences were what made the show for me. So, like...
Yeah.
The day that they were playing at Blossom, and MMS said, hey, you want to, go to Blossom, blah, blah, blah. You'll host a backstage thing with the band. I said, fine. Yeah, great. That'd be great. And then they'd say, well, they're going to pick you up. You don't have to drive to Blossom. I was like,
right.
Who's picking me up? And they're like, don't worry about it. I was like, okay. And so I'm sitting there and with my ex-wife, and we're sitting outside the house, and dude, shit you not, the fucking Godsmack tour bus starts rolling down my street, and like I didn't live in a great neighborhood.
Right.
It wasn't quite part of it was like old Brooklyn, but it was shitty part of old Brooklyn. And so this bus, dude, all painted up and everything, it was a badass bus. Coming down the road, dude, they had to deflate the tires a little bit because they had like a satellite dish on top. They had to get down the trees and shit, and get on the bus, and the entire band is sitting there.
Nice, that's awesome.
And so we just rolled out with them all the way to Blossom. Got to the backstage area, that little picnic area outside Blossom. You know the area.
Yeah, sure.
There. And so we had dinner with them and the Deftones, and they had a couple video games and shit inside. And I don't know if it was a girlfriend of Sully, the lead singer, or it was just some chick or whatever it was, wife, whatever. I don't know. But she had some short-ass leather skirt on. It was riding this motorcycle game. I mean, just the little things that you remember. So,
sure.
Then, they lead us out to, like, literally we're touching the stage. And so when you get that kind of treatment, you have that kind of experience, they could have been Joe Biden on stage, and I would have had a good time.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, when you get to hang with the band, especially when they're, I mean, honestly, one of my favorite hanging with a band times ever, and you're going to be surprised about this because it's not even a metal band. It's not even a rock band. Hall & Oates.
Oh, hey, you told me about that. Well, it's a legendary band.
They're legendary, but I mean, you would think for me it'd be like introing Pantera or something, right, which I did
Slayer.
Get to do, and that was amazing. Or I did interviews with Slayer for a TV show.
Yeah.
For Yibo TV when that was a thing. I got to interview Slayer and Marilyn Manson. That was pretty sweet. I mean, that was really cool in person. Those were cool events, but man, I was supposed to walk through the Rock Hall with John Oates and just kind of go through it. And, he was going to critique the Rock Hall, and he missed his flight. So he got in late, but he still called me and he invited me to come down early and hang out, and he would do an interview or whatever I needed to do. Right.
Yeah.
So I go down and they lead me back to his trailer at like 4:30 in the afternoon or something. It was like very early in the afternoon. He had a $800 bottle of wine, and and I don't even drink wine. And he's like, "Hey, you want some of this wine?" And I was like, and I knew, because he told me, he's like, "Oh, look at this $800 bottle of wine. It's great to be us on the rider." He's joking around and whatever. And I was like, no, you drink it, man. I'm not really a wine guy. He's like, dude, we can get as many of these as we want. It's on the rider. It's like, okay, then I'll drink it. And me and him drank wine while I chatted with him, and we just bullshitted. It was barely an interview. It was just more bullshitting around for a while. Then after a while, he was like, hey, you want to meet somebody? And I was like, sure. He takes me over to meet Todd Rundgren.
That's awesome.
So I meet Todd Rundgren, and I ended up talking computers with Todd Rundgren. I didn't talk any music with Todd at all. I wasn't like, hello, it's me. I wasn't. I was sitting there talking to him about, RAM and computer shit because he's a big computer guy. And then at some point, I got led back to John's trailer, and Daryl Hall was in there, and I met Daryl Hall. And then finally they were like, dude, we got to get ready to go on stage. We're going to have our guy take you to your seats. And I was like, and you've done this before, dude. You know that run. It's almost a walk of shame. When they walk you out and kind of push you out into the regular people, you feel like it's the walk of shame.
Oh, yeah.
Not this time. They put me on the side of the stage with the girlfriends.
That's awesome.
Sitting right on the side of the stage, and I ended up, they have a saxophone guy that plays like saxophone and tambourine and shit.
Right.
I ended up so close that I was handing him instruments. Like he would just yell over. He'd be like, saxophone, clarinet, and I would hand it to him. I was handing it to him while they were playing the songs. It was one of the greatest nights of my life, dude.
That's awesome, dude.
It was so fun.
Sometimes I think experiences make.
Oh yeah.
Like, look, Korn. I like the music of Korn. I mean, I do. I know a lot of people don't, but I'm a fan.
I love them.
But again, when you get to talk to some of these guys personally, it makes the band even that much better for you. Like, my wife is the greatest person ever, and I'm so happy that I'm married to her and not to the other one.
Right.
But she never would have done, what the other one did in this instance, anyways. I mean, I know I've told the story before, but I like it, so I'm going to tell it again. My ex was a huge Korn fan. Dude.
Sure.
Huge, like bigger than me, bigger fan than me. She wasn't bigger than me. She was a bigger fan than me.
Sure.
And so, one day, obviously I was doing a lot with MMS back then, dude, like a lot. And so, they were cool with me. I got everything I asked for at that station when I was, pretty much first started.
Sure.
And she said, if you get me to meet Jonathan Davis, dude, I'll sleep with you and another chick.
All right. Ooh.
And I was like, well, hell to the yeah. And so, of course, when they came to town, I made that happen, dude. And so we're backstage. I introduced, her to Jonathan Davis, and we're hanging out, talking, all that kind of stuff. I said, yeah, dude. She said she's going to sleep with me and another broad if I got her to meet you. I said, I'll tell you about it next time you're in town. And so, of course, they come back to town.
Right.
And since that time, we had gone to Vegas.
Okay.
And I reminded her of what she had said to me.
Right.
And that week that we were in Vegas, we spent like $900, actually more than that, on hookers. And I remember like the one girl, we were sitting there, like this girl came to the hotel room and she goes, to my ex-wife, she goes, do you mind if I go down on your husband? And she's like, no, it's fine. And it was like the sun opened up, the clouds parted, and there was this beam of light that came from the heavens above. I started singing, and and it was like the greatest thing. But anyways, we get, Korn comes back to town, and we get to meet him again. And I tell Jonathan Davis the story, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, so last time this is what happened. And I was like, and we did. We spent almost $1,000 on hookers when we were out in Vegas. And Jonathan Davis just looked at me and he's like, that's the best fucking story I've ever heard in my life. He gave me a hug, dude. So I'm sitting there hugging Jonathan Davis and he hugs her. And then he's like, all right, you guys are sitting up on the stage today. I was like,
nice.
Yeah. It was fucking fantastic, dude. But again, then I could have cared less what they sounded like. The band, sometimes the bands make the experience for you. And
sure. Well, and it is most of the time. It's fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's like you're backstage and they're just like, why the fuck are you back here? And it's like, you know what? Fuck you then, dick. It's like, I really didn't want to be here anyway, you asshole.
Right.
I've had that experience too with several guys, Brett Michaels, John Bon Jovi. I've had several of those guys that have just been total fucking pricks, but for the most part, though, most of them are pretty cool. That's the weird thing is that most of them, even if they've been celebrities for a long time, they really haven't forgotten when they were fucking dirtbags that worked at the 7-Eleven or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Glenn Danzig was another dick, though. Glenn Danzig was a fucking...
Oh, dude, we both have bad Danzig stories.
Yeah, that guy's a dick.
He is a dick.
And I guess, back then he was like built and stuff like that, and chicks, he was just a douche without a doubt.
Yeah, he is an ass. He's always been an ass. Trying to play that tough guy. The best thing in the world was when that one guy knocked him the fuck out.
Yeah,
that was the best thing in the world. That he tried to tough guy up on the wrong guy, and he got knocked to shit.
Dude, some of these bands, man. I mean, look. I understand how popular they are. I get it. And I understand that a lot of the bands don't like the radio DJ guy and stuff like that. But back then, man, if it wasn't for radio DJs and playing your fucking music, then, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't be as popular as you are. In a lot of instances, anyways. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, Danzig was a dick. When I tried to introduce him, he didn't come out for like 3 different times. Finally, I said, fuck you, and I walked out. And then I started yelling at him on his tour bus, and he came out and I was like, you wanted to fight me. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to fight you. I was like, you're just a dick. Yeah. And I was like, but I'm sure as hell not going to bring you on. And I left. And then, I can't remember, there was a metal band. There was a black guy who's the lead singer.
Living Color?
No, King's X or something.
Oh, King's X, yeah. Doug Pinnick.
And every fucking time I started to introduce him, there was nobody there to see him, dude. There must have been 50 people in the ballroom at the Agora. And every time I started to introduce him, he started playing a fucking guitar, dude. Every time. Every single time I opened my mouth. And I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going home.
I don't blame it. And they stink anyway. I never was a big fan of the King's X.
And then there was a band I really did like, and I still love their music. Shit, why am I drawing a blank now?
What's the song?
Oh, dude, they have a lot of hits from Jacksonville, Florida, rock band.
Okay.
What the fuck? They're a huge band.
Jacksonville rock band?
Yeah.
Florida 90s rock band. Limp Bizkit?
No.
Who else? Skinner, Cold, Allman Brothers, Yellow Card,
Sound of
Blackfoot.
Madness. Sound of Madness song.
That's the song?
Yeah, Sound
of Madness. That would be Shinedown?
Shinedown. Fucking A, dude. I couldn't think of it to save my life. They have like 8,000 hits. But they were playing at the Peabody's down under.
Okay.
By Rascal House there when it was over there.
Yeah.
And I was looking for them because they only had a couple of hits out at the time.
Okay.
And I was looking for them because I was putting them on the air. I was going to interview them.
Right.
And and some guy comes up to me. He's like, "You looking for Shinedown?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "I'll go find them for you." And then he starts laughing, and it was the fucking lead singer of the band, dude. And he was fucking with me. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? Fuck this guy. Fuck this band. I'm not
right.
anything. And I just walked out. But it ended up being a great band. Ended up being a lot of hits and, huge band. And now I'm kind of pissed that I, didn't. But he was being a dick, dude. I mean, like, don't be a dick.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate when they're dicky, man. And for me, the worst guy has always been Bret Michaels, and I've said it over and over again. I've said it to his current guitar player that I had a problem with Bret, and he's like, "Oh, he must have just been having a bad day." And I'm just like, "Yeah, he must have been having like 6 or 7 because I consistently have had problems with that guy." But he's been a dick in interviews. He's been a dick in person to me. Maybe I'm the dick. Who knows? Maybe I'm the common denominator here. I don't know. Because everybody else seems to like him.
I guess my problem back then was that sometimes you get a big head, dude, and I shouldn't have had a big head. Hmm. And so I kind of told people to fuck off, and I shouldn't have. But,
I always just appreciate the guys that always treated me nice. Like Dio. That dude, I wouldn't see him for 5 years at a stretch and he'd remember my name. And I was like, he doesn't have any reason to remember my name.
Right.
You know, I'm just the fucking fat guy from Cleveland that he ran into every now and again. And he'd be like, Chris Aiken, what's going on? I was like, geez, that's awesome.
AC/DC was cool to me. AC/DC
Sure.
was a good band. Veruca Salt was a good band.
I remember them, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There were some good ones, some really nice guys and gals, but there's just a lot that think that their shit don't stink too.
You know who were the biggest, and I always forget to name these guys, and I'm not going to today. Some of the biggest assholes I've ever met, the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Really?
Oh, Anthony Kiedis and Flea, insufferable pricks. You know, I met them on the One Hot Minute tour. Oh my God, I wanted to. For some reason, I was doing an in-person interview with them, and I didn't even want to finish the interview. I hated them so fucking bad. They were just like I was beneath them, and I was like, you know what, suck my dick, you fucks.
I can see that about those guys, though. I mean, every interview I've ever seen with Flea, he's just a fucking tool bag.
Yeah, always, man. But
you know my daughter's going to see tonight?
Who?
Or what she's going to see tonight?
What?
The George Michael play down at Playhouse Square.
Probably be good.
That's what I was thinking, man. I was thinking that might be kind of entertaining to see. They had a Michael Jackson thing that was here not that long
My mom
ago.
went to that and said it was amazing.
Really? I wanted to see that. I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I don't care. I don't think he molested kids. But this George Michael thing looks kind of cool, too. She's going down
George Michael had a lot of great songs. I don't care how many "You're a Faggot" because you like those songs people throw at me.
Yeah, I know.
George Michael, every song on that Faith album is great.
And it's some tunes, man.
Freedom 90 is as good of a song as anything that came out in the 80s or 90s. That's my jam there, that Freedom.
Yeah, I love it. You might be slightly gay if you like them in the Wham videos with short shorts. Other than that, you know.
Yeah, I don't love those songs, but the George Michael solo music was fucking great.
I agree, man. I agree. We got to do Minds, dude.
Well, we got to do what?
We got to switch over to Minds at some point here.
Yeah, well, why don't we do this before we go to Minds? We got 10 minutes. Why don't we play the Dawg Pound Details and give it to people in the...
Is that a new one?
It is a new one of the Giants game. And then we'll wrap the main segment up talking a little bit about the Browns.
That sounds good.
All right, so check it out. It is Bloom Doggy, Jon Drake, and the Dawg Pound Details.
What's up, guys? Jon Drake here with another edition of the Dawg Pound Details. And unfortunately, it is not a positive update. The Browns fall to the lowly New York Giants and quarterback Daniel Jones, 21-15. Could look at it as 8-0 Browns in the second half. I guess that's a positive. Yeah, pretty disgusting to lose to a team like this. This is one of those games that you see on the schedule when the schedule's released, and especially when the season starts, and you see a team playing as poorly as the Giants had been, and you say, okay, well, this is a good tune-up game. You know, we can, get a couple of wins under our belt, go 2-0 in our last two, kind of get a win streak going. And instead you go out and just lay a complete egg. The defense played well in the second half. You could say that they did pitch the shutout. Getting down 21-7 in the first half did not help. That was not very good. And let's face it, it was basically 21-0 because the Browns scored that first touchdown within the first 10 seconds of the game, thanks to a Giants fumble on the opening kickoff. These are just games you cannot lose. The only silver lining to this crappy cloud is that it's an NFC team. So you're not losing within your own conference. You're not losing within your own division. So that's good. Other than that, just these are games you cannot be losing. And it's really, really disappointing. Pittsburgh's finding a way to win, so they're still undefeated at 3-0. So you're 2 games out in the division. I know it's early to start talking like that, but you really want to stack wins when you can get them because the season can easily slip away if you're not careful. The one thing I will say, Deshaun Watson, stat-wise, he still hasn't gone over 200 yards this season. The offense still hasn't scored more than 20 points. Personally, Deshaun Watson, you could see the accuracy is better when he's had time, I think he's looked okay. I can't say okay. I think he's looked good. The passes have been accurate. He's been victimized by drops. He's been sacked more than any quarterback in the NFL, which honestly for me raises questions. I know that this is not something that, people say, oh, that's not really an issue. But to me, I always wonder, did these guys really care if this guy gets hit? Is the offensive line going all out for this guy? He's kind of a slime ball. And by kind of a slime ball, I mean monstrous piece of crap. So, are these guys really going all out to protect him? Didn't seem like Joe Flacco was getting hit a lot last year. Granted, there are a lot of injury concerns on the offensive line, but I don't know. It really makes me wonder. The Browns are not going for a run game. I don't like that at all. The lack of Nick Chubb notwithstanding, they are just not committing to the run game enough. I was not a fan of the Ken Dorsey hiring as an offensive coordinator in the offseason. He couldn't, get it done with Josh Allen and the Bills. And Josh Allen looks like an MVP candidate right now. So I don't know. That might not have been the best solution to replace Alex Van Pelt. I've never understood why they need an offensive coordinator. Anyway, if Stefanski's just going to call the plays, why have an offensive coordinator? Just have both titles and move on. Oh boy. So, I think going forward, I'm not overly worried yet outside of one thing, and that's the offensive line. If Deshaun Watson or whoever's going to play quarterback is going to get mauled this many times, injuries are going to happen. The offense will not be able to get into a rhythm, and that just can't happen. You're not going to have a run game as we've seen. So they've got to fix this offensive line somehow. I get it. There's injuries, but they have to find some way to protect the quarterback and give the quarterback time to actually get some things done back there. So I think that is the big concern going forward. Of course, this week, we are going to be out in Las Vegas to play the Raiders. And again, this is a game looking at the schedule that you should win. If they come out of this game with a loss, I think, to start the first quarter of the season at 1-3 when you really should have been 3-1 is awful. So I'm looking at this as a must-win game. Before I get out of here, gotta shout out the Cleveland Guardians. Come on, first round bye. Let's do it, man. What a fun baseball season this has been. So, as much as the Browns are extremely frustrating, I am loving the Guardians. What an amazing time I've had all season watching them. And let's hope that this postseason run is a long one and ends in our first World Series championship in, 70 years or something like that. So the longest drought in baseball. So, go Guards. And as always, guys, go Browns. Let's get in that W, man. Let's get in that W.
In other words, they suck ass.
Who are the Guards? Never heard of them.
Can you dump him and find a guard daddy?
We don't need it. We don't talk Guardians.
Look, we could talk Indians, though, and the Indians are going to playoffs, man.
No, the Guardians are some skank team.
They're still the Indians.
My Padres are going.
Your Padres ain't got a shot in hell. So.
That's what I thought too. At one point they were 50-50, and then they went 40-16 from the 100-game mark, or from the whatever mark.
Look, I'm not so sure that the Indians have much of a chance here either. I hope so, but I know that they got a bye now, and so they're going to be resting a lot of people. People are going to be sitting. They're going to be out of rhythm, and I don't think that's good for a baseball team.
I can tell you honestly, I did not watch one single pitch of the Indians this year, and I never will again.
Look, I have to get over the nickname, and I have to root for the team. Look, I don't have to root for that owner. I don't have to root for the people that made the decision to change the name, but I am going to root for my Cleveland baseball team. Look, and Triv was a big fan of the Cleveland baseball team, and I like baseball. And so it's my city, it's my team. I don't have to like the Guardians name, but I'm going to support the players that play for my city.
Not me.
I think that's pretty selfish and childish.
Yes. Damn right. So is changing the name because 5 people fucking whined.
Again, I don't agree with that, but you think the players had anything to do with it?
Yes.
They
didn't stand up.
So you want Jose Ramirez to say, I'm not playing for you. keep my millions of dollars. I'm not playing for a team.
I didn't say that, but he could have said this is fucking stupid, which would have had a lot of sway. It would have had a lot of sway on it. But he didn't. He just sat back and said, I don't give a shit what name's on the check as long as I get it.
And he wants to win. What's wrong with that? And you're talking about a guy that took basically a pay cut to stay here. I
win.
I respect those players.
Go ahead, win. But I will no longer be a fan.
I'm rooting for the players. I'm rooting for the city of Cleveland.
Not me. I am rooting for the city of San Diego. I have moved my allegiance to San Diego.
Damn right. Jon Drake is heading down the tube. He's going to be eating crickets in a matter of minutes, a matter of days.
I agree with Jim here. F that team. I hope they get knocked out as soon as they start. Thank you, Jim.
Well, so you're just going to be mad and not root for a baseball team, and that is our own city.
I haven't watched one pitch since they announced the team change. Not one pitch. I'm done with them. They're gone to me. They exist the same as the Cleveland Force does. They don't.
What do you have against the Force?
They don't exist anymore.
It's the Crunch.
That's not the Force.
What do you have against so you don't like the Crunch?
No, I like the Crunch. I like the Crunch fine. One didn't steal from the other. I'm just saying that they have the Guardians have the same amount of value to me as the Cleveland Force does now. None. Because they don't exist.
I think John's talking to you here. Leave Jose Ramirez out of this. He's the.
I don't care what John says.
I think he meant polar fucking opposite, not Poper, like the opposite of Deshaun Watson.
John's an ass kissing idiot. I ain't worried about him.
See, Aiken's a front runner.
A front runner? I chose San Diego because there's a chance I might go to a game because my brother lives in San Diego. I did not front run at all, and I chose them long before they went on that signing streak. When they signed Soto and all those other guys all at once, Tatis, Hugh Darvish, all those guys. I chose San Diego before they signed all those guys.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to root for a Cleveland team. Now, I couldn't get behind the Cavs because LeBron James is a prick, dude. But that's different. He's a player.
Yeah, I don't watch the Cavs because they told me in the words of LeBron that if I don't support his agenda, then I shouldn't be a fan. So I'm not. And I haven't watched a dribble of basketball since COVID.
All right, dude. Well, I'm sorry, but I have to look. And the other reason I didn't root for the Cavs is because I knew I had to work extra hard if they actually won. And I didn't want to do that. So I'm rooting for the Indians this year.
Well, go ahead. I'll be pulling for my Sandy. Maybe we'll get a Guardians Padres World Series.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have to bet crickets on it.
Fine with me.
Because the Indians will beat the shit out of your Padres any day of the week.
We'll see, won't we? They did during the season. I will say that.
Oh. All right, it's Mines time.
All right, let's go to Mines.
You got to go to Mines, MINDS. Switch over. If you have not signed up yet, do so immediately. And pay a lousy $5 and you get a whole bunch of good shit. Either that or you get, well, you don't really get a lot of good shit. I don't know what you get. You get something.
You get funnier than this.
Yeah, and Starbucks. I mean, I guarantee your ass goes to Starbucks and gets some stupid-ass coffee. It costs you more than $5.
That's right.
All right, so we'll see you over there.
All right.
Jon Drake, pony up, $5. He ain't going to do it, is he?
No. By the way, just real quick, and then we will go.
Yeah.
If you want to see more of me and Jon Drake, we are doing the Classic Metal Show on Saturday. So me and Jon Drake uncensored for 5 hours, and I will be doing a gummy an hour for the entire show.
Wow.
So I might be very fucked up by the end.
Maybe I'll call you and be smoking a little birthday cake weed that I got here at the house. And
well, dude, you're welcome to come in.
See what happens. All right.
You're welcome to come in. It'll be fun.
Song time, Mines time.
All right. See you, fuckos.
See you next Monday.
Seth Williams loves this land, stands tall and proud. Believes in freedom, speaks his mind out loud. Mentored by Trip, he learned to be tough. Life knocked him down, but he got back up. but he's still strong and true, chasing dreams under skies of red, white, and blue. Voting for Trump, he shouts it clear. WTAM tried to bring him down, but he's still here. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. Hates LeBron James, won't wear that crown. Prefers hard work and blue jeans in this town. Radio waves try to shut him up, but Seth keeps singing, filling that cup. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air. From the small town streets to the mountain high, Seth sees the flag waving, reaching for the sky. He keeps on fighting with a rebel yell, for every fallen soldier and the stories they tell. In the heart of America, Seth takes a stand. Against the tides, he defends our land. Liberals call him crazy, but he don't care. He's got the spirit of an eagle, soaring high in the air.